Now, what are you going to do about recognizing the opportunity for success? Read the outliers. Success is about timing, who you know, and the stamina to grasp opportunity and hang on to it. Some of you are going to go to college to be successful, so off you go. But remember this, almost half of the people who start a four-year degree never finish. Most of those people drop out their freshman year, the rest their sophomore year. If you can make it through those first 2 years, your chances of success increase exponentially. So when you're sitting in your dorm room this fall and things seem hopeless, because despite Mr. Burnett and Ms. Heffley's warnings, you found out that college really was tougher than high school, I want you to ask yourself, what am I going to do about it? First of all, don't stress. Go to the mirror, look yourself in the eye, and say, breathe Jesus in, blow Satan out. I don't care if you're religious or not, this works. Listen, therapy is expensive, popping bubble wrap is cheap. You choose. Now I realize a lot of you aren't going to remember most of the things I say to you tonight, and many others will misunderstand or mistake my meanings. For instance, my daughter used to introduce herself as Mr. McCart's daughter. Well, my wife wanted to teach her to have an identity of her own. So she'd say, no, Annie, you should say, I'm Annie McCart. So our priest saw her next Sunday and said, aren't you Mr. McCart's daughter? And Annie said, I thought I was, but my mom says I'm not. So don't get this message wrong. When you're thinking about giving up, don't. You have got to learn. Don't sweat the petty things, and don't pet the sweaty things. So as you, not talking about you, Gavin. So as you head off those hallowed halls of advanced learning, here's a few things to ponder. Deanna Boonstra, if you buy a new set of drums, will there be repercussions? Tim Spitzer, what if there were no hypothetical questions? Zach Farmer, you like journalism? Remember Frank Zappa once said, rock journalism is for people who can't write, interviewing people who can't talk, for people who can't read. Jasmine Zell, if you try to fail and succeed, which have you done? Bobby Tweet, hey Bobby, did you know that if a woman has to choose between catching a fly ball and saving an infant's life, she will always choose to save the infant's life without even considering if there are men on base? Jake Dinkla, a study in the Washington Post says that women have better verbal skills than men. Well, duh. David Janicki, doesn't expecting the unexpected make the unexpected expected? Andrea Brown, you know, often, Andrea, when I'm reading a good book, I'll stop and thank my English teacher. That is, I used to until she got an unlisted number. Jake Howland, hey Jake, I went to the store to buy some camouflage pants, but I couldn't find any. Hey Tim Long, do you know that 42.7% of all statistics are made up on the spot? And someday, whether you go to college, tech school, or military, you're going to have to start your career. My question again, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to make your career your passion? Because you are what you do, right? Read The Element, it will help you find your passion. And don't just find a job for the pay. Tell me what you need, and I'll tell you how to get along without it. Too many people quit looking for a job, quit looking for work when they find a job. If you aren't happy, do something about it. Follow your dream. Unless it's that dream where you're in your underwear and during a fire drill. And be wary of becoming complacent. You're never too professional to learn more. Remember, amateurs built the Ark, professionals built the Titanic. Besides, let me warn you, when the bosses start talking about improving productivity, they are never talking about themselves. And don't lose heart when the light at the end of the tunnel has been turned off due to budget cuts. Be the one who figures out a way to rekindle it. And if you ever hope to be a credible adult, then for God's sakes, don't pierce and tattoo every available piece of flesh. I have a friend who says he's always looking for a woman with a tattoo, because he says, I see a woman with a tattoo and I'm thinking, okay, here's a gal who's capable of making a decision she'll regret later. I have the greatest job in the world, because as Mr. Ramsey says, we're in the kid business. So many people work with things wishing they could work with people, because things are used and people are loved, and not the other way around. Don't fall in love with things, fall in love with people. Read Tuesdays with Maury. It will help you learn to fall in love with people. Because even though you're having to say goodbye to friends you've known all your lives, you need to realize this: you haven't even met some of your best friends. For some of you, it'll be a roommate, some a bunkmate, still others a soulmate. Make new friends every day. Like Jack Lemmon said, if you think it's hard to meet people, try picking up the wrong golf ball. In the summer of